Chapter 2 Seer of Seers. Shuffle, shuffle, click. Shuffle, shuffle, click. Orest walked very slowly and several steps behind the old man with the cane as they made their way toward a residential district in the mage's quarter. He did his best to make it look to others like he was not following the old man. What does this guy know about the SARU, and where is he taking me, thought Orest as they neared the west wall of the city. Just then he heard a shout. "Hey, Orest!" It was one of his best friends, Chauncey, an orphan that he'd grown up with. Orest did not actually grow up an orphan, and he still wasn't one, but he felt as if he might as well have been. Since the age of 6, when his father came back from the last war against the Burning Legion, he was just never the same. His father had rarely spent a sober hour since returning, in fact. His mother left shortly after, moving away to South Shore and only coming back about once a year to see Orest. He had to spend a great deal of time fending for himself, while also realizing that he needed to take responsibility for helping his father, if he wanted to keep him off the streets and out of the drunk tank. It was quite a weight for a teenager to place on himself, but Orest felt this was his only option. It was obvious that Chauncey was passing the zone of sobriety himself quite rapidly, getting an early start on the weekend from a metal flask he was carrying. "Not now, Chauncey," Orest hissed. Chauncey persisted. "Aw, come on, it's a great day. I hear there's going to be a scrap in the old quarter tonight, too, and they're taking bets." Orest shot back, exasperated. "Yeah, Chauncey, maybe I'll see you there. I have errands to run." Chauncey nodded, let out a gleeful whoop, took a swig from the flask, and continued down the street in the other direction. The old man walked up to a modest-looking home on the very edge of town, a weather-beaten but sturdily built structure made entirely of gray stone. It was 2 stories tall, with just a few very small windows, all of them covered on the inside by heavy black curtains. The old man paused as he grabbed the rusty latch on the front door and turned to Orest. "You'd best be respectful in here. The master of this house, Llewellyn, is a wise, powerful, and wondrous man. He is a seer among seers. Do not allow him to see weakness." Orest nodded, stood up as straight as possible, shrugged his shoulders back in military fashion, and tried his best to seem powerful and confident. The old man opened the door, and they stepped into a small foyer with a dusty black curtain at one end of it. The door swung shut behind them quickly by itself. When it latched, the old man parted the curtain. Orest redoubled his efforts to look tall and strong. For if this meeting was what he thought it was going to be, his life was about to change significantly. Orest followed the old man into what was apparently the dining room of the house, and was instantly agape at the scale and grandeur. First of all, this room was easily as large as the entire house was from the outside, in all 3 dimensions, yet there were doors leading to other rooms on every side. What kind of magic is this, thought Orest in wonderment, trying to remain composed, but allowing himself a moment to take in the ambiance despite his frayed nerves. A thick wooden table inlaid with an intricate glass mosaic of 3 dragons chasing each other dominated the center of the room, surrounded by 10 heavy but delicately carved wooden chairs. At the head of the table sat a short, completely bald, middle-aged man with a prominent pot-belly, dressed in long silk robes of scarlet and gold. He sat upright with his arms folded, but his eyes were closed, as if meditating. This must be Llewellyn. Despite his stature, he did indeed project a great deal of wealth, power, and importance. Atop the table were 2 golden serving trays, both covered in finely etched domes. An empty marble fireplace with large iron fire tools on both sides of it took up most of one wall. Several large paintings and murals graced the other walls. The old man walked up to Llewellyn hesitantly, with careful deference, and said softly, "Llewellyn of Stormwind, master of masters, seer of seers, my liege, your humble servant is here with the boy you seek, whenever you are ready to receive him." Llewellyn did not respond. The old man bowed slightly and turned to walk back over to Orest at the other end of the table. The old man said, "Look sharp, and don't lose your composure. I will test you now." Orest nodded, more nervous by the second, trying to stand completely upright, and thinking about projecting as much confidence as possible. The old man stood directly in front of Orest, his gaze fixed on him from no more than a foot away, and Orest steeled himself for what was about to come. The old man certainly didn't look physically strong. Was he about to attack him with magic to test him? Martial arts? A psionic attack, perhaps? The old man looked directly at Orest, and asked him without the slightest hint of a smile, "Why did the Murloc cross the road?"